friends, welcome to Bookish Bliss, our virtual book club. Every week we will dig into a section of chapters in our favorite books. Let's get started!
Hey book besties, and welcome back to Bookish Bliss for episode 105. We have a lot to discuss today.
We are continuing our journey through Sarah J. Maas's Kingdom of Ash, and this week it's all about chapters 61 to 75. So you don't have to read the entire book, but you do need to be caught up on the chapters we're covering because we are going full spoiler mode. Hell yeah.
Woo!
Amanda, darling, what are you drinking tonight?
Darling, I started my little mini can of poppy, so I'm just finishing that, and then I have the good old ginger lime mule with its new little design.
I love it.
How about you, darling? What are you drinking tonight?
I just have a little Diet Coke because I need the caffeine for this evening's recording.
Yeah, it's been an exhausting week so far.
It's actually just like wild. We're both just hurting in like different ways. And
Literally.
I swear to God, we can't catch a fucking break during this book.
Nope.
It's like
our lives are just as chaotic as Kingdom of Ash.
No, for real. It's like
Literally.
This is such an important book. It's the ending to the series, and we could not be more chaotic.
Literally.
Jesus.
We're on theme.
We're on theme. Cheers to episode 105 of Bookish Bliss and part 5 of Kingdom of Ash. Cheers.
Yes, cheers, darling.
Amanda, darling, what is your bookish news?
My bookish news, I'm actually prepared today. I looked ahead of time.
Nice.
And I know I finished The Heir Apparent, which is our book club book.
Mm-hmm.
And I finished 2 Frida McFadden books, The Surrogate Mother and The Crash.
Ooh.
Yeah, so the Fridas were really, really good. I've been in thriller mode, but I just actually started The Wolf Prince today, so I'm excited.
The Night Prince?
Yeah, for our Discord book club in April.
Nice.
How about you, darling? What have you read this week? What's your bookish news?
At least I have an update this week. I did finish The Heir Apparent, which is our book club book, which is good because our meeting is tomorrow. So
literally,
is it tomorrow? No. Thursday. Is it Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah,
Thursday.
Thursday.
So okay, so I had a whole other day. Just
kidding. Wow, you finished extra early.
I literally only read 3 books in the month of March, which is so crazy because I was on track, hitting like 8 books a month or whatever.
Yeah.
And this month I only read 3.
April's going to be your catch-up month. I feel it. It's going to be lots of rain with the spring.
Yeah.
You got this.
So I do have, when we finish recording tonight, because I'm having a little bit of trouble sleeping, because, when lives are chaotic, the sleep is not good. So I have The Wolf King to start reading tonight, and actually reading and not listening.
Nice, darling.
Because I'm that behind that I haven't even read last month's Discord book club book.
You will not regret reading The Wolf King, though.
No.
Everybody loved it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to start it. I did stop listening to Mate because I had to return it to the library and re-renew it, and I had to go back on hold because there was people waiting, so I'm like 20th in line. So I'm kind of bummed about that because I was like hoping to at least get Mate done as well, but it's just not in the cards for me at the moment. I am really enjoying it. I'm still at like the beginning stages of the book, so nothing like too crazy has happened yet, so I feel like it's fine to just pick up where I left off once I get it back. But that's my bookish news.
Darling, we forgot to mention this on whichever episode came out during that week, but Rebecca Yarros announced she's starting to write Empyrean 4, and we didn't even talk about it in our bookish news. How dare we?
How dare we?
She has finished her contemporary and she's plotting Empyrean 4.
Yes, she was doing a little reread I saw in one of her Instagram posts, and then I think she posted something, I don't know if it was today, of the kind of like the plot, but like not really. It was like just made you look at the end, and it was like cliffhanger obviously or whatever. So
yeah, did she say it was like her sister's take on the 4th book or something? I forget what it said.
I don't remember, but that's really funny.
Yeah. So funny.
I'm like,
She's quick with it, though. I think we'll get a book next year.
I think, yeah, maybe, or like early 2027.
Yeah, that's next year, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get it this year. I think we'll get an announcement this year, but I think we'll get the book next year.
Yeah. We still don't have a freaking name for ACOTAR 6 and 7, and it comes out in less than a year.
Yeah. Well, they're going to milk that shit, of course.
Yeah,
They're not going to fucking tell us until the goddamn book comes out at this rate.
that's true.
But no, they'll capitalize on those releases, I'm sure. They'll do each one individually.
And we're excited. Is it Rights of the Starling comes
Yeah,
out
something like that.
in a couple of
Tomorrow? No,
days?
Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So excited about that.
I know. I wish I brought that up to the Discord. Maybe we'll have to push back City of Gods and Monsters a month just to read that one, but we'll see how the group feels.
Yeah, I have to kind of do a reminder of the Shields of Sparrows. Because
Me too.
I remember, but like maybe I'll just read the last chapter or something.
I remember too, but I really don't. I should do a reread before I read that one.
I don't
but
have time for a reread,
I know.
but I need a
I think I have it on
refresher.
audio, but I want to see if I have it on audio somewhere. Maybe I'll just listen.
Yeah, I'm excited. So many cool romantasy books coming out
I
very, very
know.
soon. And I'm excited to see what our in-person book club picks for this month. I'm hoping, since it's Rachel's pick, there will be a romantasy option in there,
Indeed, darling.
but we shall see. I don't know what she's doing.
Fingers crossed, Rachel, if you're listening to this.
Which you won't
You know what to
probably
pick.
by the time she'll be listening to this because she hasn't even read. I don't even think she's caught up on Throne of Glass.
No, yeah, she's not caught up on Throne of Glass
So
yet.
she'll be listening to this in a couple of years and she'll be like, I hope I picked her fantasy book.
She'll be like, what did I pick that month? Let me see.
Yeah.
That's so funny. We have a in-person book club this week because we're going to watch Real Housewives of Rhode Island.
Woo! Me and Amanda are both not married, but we should be like
we're housewives, so
we're the
houses.
we're the book club of Rhode Island. That should be our TV show with Bravo.
Yeah, why isn't there a TV show about us?
We are very interesting. Our cast of characters in our book club would make for really good TV.
Yeah, it would. Too bad we're not rich enough to be on TV.
I mean, there would just be so much to talk about. I feel like we all have so much going on in our lives that I feel like we would make for some really good TV. So if anyone out there that works for Bravo that may or may not listen to our podcast, keep us in mind for future shows.
Yes.
Especially if Real House of Rhode Island does well, you can have Book Club of Rhode Island.
Hell yeah.
Book clubs are so popular, and we'll give the tea.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, no, I'm excited. So yeah, we're going to Brick in Bristol to watch the episode at our bestie's restaurant that he manages. So
yeah,
so
hell
excited!
yeah.
If you see us, say hi.
And if you watch the show, let's talk about it in the Discord after.
Yes.
We don't just have to talk about books. We can talk about everything.
Yeah, we love to chit chat about TV shows, video games, everything. Talk to us about your whole life.
Yes.
Tell us all your drama. Just kidding.
All right, darling. Let's get started with the good stuff and break down Kingdom of Ash Part 5.
Yes.
It blows my mind every time we say a part. Like, how are we already here, dude? How?
I'm pretty sure we say this every episode for every book that we've ever done.
It just goes by so fast.
It does.
Does it go by fast for you guys listening? Who actually reads along with us? Yeah. I want to know. Does it go fast for you too?
Comment on whatever streaming platform you're listening on.
Yes. So I feel like maybe that's why our lives are so chaotic. Just feels so fucking fast all the time. We are starting with me, darling, and ending with me tonight.
This is your week.
This is a Megan sandwich kind of night.
I'm just sprinkling in my thoughts in the middle.
But what a section we have for you, so I'll get right into it.
Yes.
Chapter 61. Lorcan was in unbearable agony, feeling every jolt of the horse beneath him, stunned that Alide had come for him at all. Farasha flew across the plain with them on her back, but not fast enough to outrun the wall of water that would soon come crashing down. Knowing it, Lorcan told Alide he loved her and begged her to let him go. Without his weight, she might make it back to the keep. He wasn't afraid to die if it meant she survived. He loosened his grip, but Alide dug her fingers into his arm and refused. If he fell, she would fall with him. They would outrun death together or die together. At her desperate command, Farasha surged forward with impossible speed, as if the gods themselves filled her lungs with air. Then the thunderous crack split the air. The dam had ruptured. Dun dun dun! On the battlements, Rowan prayed for those on the plain, and Irene whispered that if death came, may it be quick and painless. Fenris doubted Lorcan and Alide would survive, but they kept racing. Rowan considered getting Aelin to higher ground, only to realize she was gone. She had taken Borte's ruck and flown straight toward the oncoming tidal wave. For 3 months, Aelin had been digging deep into her magic, saving every ember for Maeve's death blow. Instead, she unleashed it now. A massive wave of fire erupted from her, colliding with the flood and filling the sky with steam. Rowan ordered everyone to get down as he used his wind to drive the scalding vapor toward the mountains. The water shrank and shrank until nothing remained. Silence fell. Aelin stood glowing like molten gold, and Irene whispered that she was truly Mala's heir. Out on the plain, Alide and Lorcan halted, staring at the empty space where death had been moments before. Aelin had spent months preparing for one final strike against Maeve, but when she saw the wave, the army that would save Terrasen, and Alide and Lorcan fleeing for their lives, she knew this was the moment her power had been meant for. She felt the fire beneath the city and called it to her. When it was done, she collapsed, skin and bone once more, falling to her knees as a white-tailed hawk dove for her. She was in familiar arms when she slipped into darkness. Unbelievable start.
Such a good start to this section. I was listening to it driving the other day, and I texted Amanda, cried through all of chapter 61.
Which made me so nervous because I definitely thought someone was dying when you said that.
I know, haha.
So I was like, oh no, was I wrong? I thought Alide was going to save Lorcan, but I really didn't think he was going to survive. But he does. He's healed.
He is
by
healed.
the end of this section. But this was crazy. I was under the impression the whole time that we were going to learn about this. What is it called again when you lose your power before you become immortal? What is it called?
Oh, like the settling.
The settling, yes, the settling. I thought it was the settling the whole time, and that's why she wasn't saying anything, because she didn't want to freak anybody out that she couldn't use her power. I never thought that Maeve scared her not to use her power. I know that was like a thought, but I'm like, this bitch, hell no. There's something going on behind the scenes for sure.
Yeah, there's a reason why she's not letting go of her power.
But that was a surprise to me that she was digging so deep for 3 months while she's getting tortured. She's just building and building and building for the death blow that was supposed to be for Maeve. But when she sees all these soldiers who are here to save Terrasen, basically, or to help save Terrasen, Alide and Lorcan, she just couldn't help herself. She was like, I'm meant to be here. There was all those tunnels of flame underground that she could call to her that were heating the hot springs underneath. And she just fucking creates this giant wave of flame that clashes with this water. There's steam everywhere. And Rowan's blowing it to the wind. After that, I mean, she literally was glowing once the flame kind of died down. And she turns back into her skin and human form and just collapsed when she saw her little white-tailed hawk coming for her to save her after she just saved everybody.
What a good chapter.
A good chapter to start off the night.
That's one of my favorite chapters.
Yeah.
It's just so emotional, starting with Lorcan declaring his love for Alide. And then Aelin stepping out into the battlefield, like in front of that tidal wave, and just being such a badass and showing everyone exactly who she is.
Yeah.
And it's just such a powerful chapter. I mean, every chapter I feel like in Kingdom of Ash is like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
It's literally just shot after shot after shot. But I did love that Lorcan confessed himself. And thank God Alide was like, no, because imagine if he dropped and then Aelin saved everybody. I'd be like, damn, Lorcan, you just fucking died for no reason.
Literally.
So thank God Alide is a stubborn bitch. And she loves Lorcan.
She was not letting go of her man.
No, she was not, darling.
No. Chapter 62. The Krakens and the 13 fly southwest towards the Fangs, farther from Terrasen but closer to Marath, which benefits Dorian's plans. Manon visits Dorian in his tent, still wearing her new crown, and admits she expected more satisfaction from seeing her grandmother flee. Dorian shares that he once felt the same mix of rage and fear when killing his father, but he believes Manon's choice to humiliate her grandmother was strategically wiser than killing her outright. Manon apologizes for how she reacted when she learned Dorian intended to go to Marath, surprising him, though he accepts the apology. She knows he plans to leave soon, and he confirms that he is going alone, having learned to craft wings for himself. He acknowledges the danger but insists his mission outweighs his fear. Desperate for him to stay, Manon offers him an alliance between Adarlan and the Krakens, suggesting marriage to unite their peoples. Dorian recognizes she doesn't truly want such a bond, and Manon admits her real fear that he'll return from Arath changed into something she might have to kill. She asks him again if he would stay, if they forged this alliance. He doesn't answer, and the two become intimate. By morning, Dorian is gone, having left for Marath with the two word keys.
I was like, oh, it makes sense because everybody else is fucking married at this point, but I'm like, Dorian and Manon, husband and wife.
But alas, that does not happen.
I know. I was like, oh, Dorian, you stubborn bastard.
I think, like, you knew that he was not going to accept this alliance.
Yeah.
She even says, why should Aelin of the Wildfire be sacrificing everything for this war? So that's what she would see their marriage as, even though she obviously cares for Dorian. She's
Yeah.
scared for him, and that's why she's offering this, because she
Yeah.
doesn't want to have to kill him down the line if he turns into a Marath monster. But it would be a sacrifice for her tying her down to a man. I think their relationship, how it is just perfect for both of them. It
Yeah.
works really well. And I think by making something permanent in that manner at this moment in time is just not something Manon, I think, would be able to process and would
Yeah.
eventually regret or resent down the line.
For sure. And I think they have like their own missions too that they're very gung ho about getting done. Like Manon with the Krakens and Dorian with Marath. And I feel like their relationship would definitely interfere if it got that far.
Yeah, down the line, is that something that they could consider if it is a
Oh, yeah.
relationship that
That's happening for
continues?
sure.
Maybe. But right now, they both have to go their own ways. I gotta go
Hmm.
my own way. But what about us? That's just like what I was thinking when when the scene was happening, is that High School
Literally.
Musical scene. Like,
But what about trust?
yeah. What about everything we've been through?
What about me?
What am I supposed to do?
I don't know
I
anymore.
think it's just like, I'll
If I did, I
leave,
would.
but I'll miss you. I'm
High
dead.
School Musical. See? Housewives of Rhode Island? Put us on the TV.
But yeah, it's just such a beautiful scene. I think
I
this is
know.
the sacrifice in this moment, is their
Yeah,
relationship, and they have to continue on their separate missions to succeed in this war, for this war to be successful, and for them to ever get the opportunity to figure out their relationship. This is just how it has to be.
absolutely. I agree. And I think they will eventually find their way to each other if they survive. They
Fingers
will.
crossed.
Who the fuck's gonna die at this point? They're all surviving. You just been fucking with me this whole time.
Next
Oh,
section, you'll cry.
next section.
Yep,
All right.
and
Well,
it's
now
not
I
my
have to make a
chapter, so I'm
guess.
happy about that.
Now I have to guess. I have to make at least a prediction by the end of this episode.
Mhm.
Chapter 63. Adian and Killian kept their battered forces moving towards the Florine, knowing there was no point fleeing north as Morath's war drums thundered closer. Adian issued what he believed would be his final order as general. Ren still recognized him as such, commanding that Terrasen call for aid, even if there was nothing left to defend. He met the eyes of the snow leopard prowling beside them and prayed he would die before Lysandra so he wouldn't have to witness her fall. Then the sky filled not only with arrows, but with severed heads. Those of the army Ansel of Briarcliff had promised, still wearing their wolf-marked helmets. Adian roared, "We fight as one, we die as one," as a horn bellowed from deep within Morath's ranks. Just as the enemy closed in, a roaring blaze erupted from the left flank. Adian thought for a heartbeat that it was Aelin, but it was actually Rolf arriving with the Mycenians. Not sea dragons, but a human army armed with devastating fire lances. Morath's soldiers panicked, screaming that the Firebringer had armed them and that her power had returned anew. Rolf ordered Adian's forces to board quickly, and they scrambled to evacuate. Adian, Lysandra, and Prince Galen held the front line to ensure no soldier was left behind. When Ansel wept for the men she had lost beside them. Rolf's Mycenians bought them precious time, unleashing fire until Rolf commanded them to fall back to the fleet. Once safe, Lysandra shifted back into human form and, still naked, threw herself into Rolf's arms. He wrapped his cloak around her without hesitation. Ravi and Sol had intercepted them at the northern border, desperate for aid themselves, yet still directing them towards Adian. Rolf noticed Aelin's absence, but said they would manage. He couldn't carry the entire army, but he could buy them time and deliver Adian, Galen, Lysandra, and Ansel ahead to prepare. Lysandra returned to the troops with orders to march for Orinth, then sailed to the city. Then they sailed to the city. When she came back, wrapped once more in Rolf's cloak, she stood beside Ansel in solidarity. Rolf admitted he didn't have enough fire lances to withstand a siege, but nothing could stop the witch towers anyway.
Ugh, these damn witch towers.
These fucking witch towers are giving me anxiety.
They
Okay?
should.
They do. They fucking do. I was devastated for my girl Ansel in this chapter.
I know. That was really sad. I think obviously we knew something was wrong at this point. They're just never showing up, never showing up. It was mentioned so many times that I feel like as the reader, you know, okay, well, something went awry.
Yeah.
But never did you think that their heads were going to be shot over at them
No.
at the start of this battle.
Could you imagine you're the commander of this army? You went ahead with these other people.
Well, and half of, I think it was like half of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just still, like, devastating. I cannot even believe.
Yeah, you think, well, what if we all just went together? Would there have been a different outcome?
Yeah.
You just start playing that what if game.
Yeah. And as a leader, I'm sure that's hard because you gave that direction, you know? She kind of probably feels the blame for that a little bit, but Adian's like, this is going to be my final order as general, since Ren still recognized him as such, that Terrasen needs to call for aid. Even if there's nothing left to defend, fucking call for aid. And it's about goddamn time that they do.
I'm unclear why that this call for aid wasn't done forever ago.
I thought Darren was Valg. That's why he wasn't calling for aid. I'm like, there's got to be a reason, dude. Yeah. There has to be a reason.
Yeah.
But, you know, it finally fucking happened.
I think it's just, like, leading up to, like, everything we see that happens with Manon in a little bit and the Krakens. But still, this should have been done a while ago, this call for aid. For sure. Adian's like, we fight as one and we die as one. And then they hear that horn. I'm like, oh no, darling. Oh no, darling.
The Valg are upon us.
They're here.
But Rolf shows up, not with sea dragons, but with human armies. Or army. A human army. With fire lances. So Adian sees fire and thinks, oh my god, Aelin's here. Yay. No. Not Aelin, but the Mycenians are here, and they scare away the Valg enough for them to regroup, basically. Yeah, because he hasn't gotten his letter from Aelin yet, as far as we know, and they have not heard yet about what she just did in Aniel, which we know word is spreading about that because we see that word has spread by the end of the section to Erewhon, but we don't know what Adian knows yet at the end of the section. What his spies have said yet. Yeah, so at this point, Rolf's like, let's fucking go back to the ships and sail to Orinth. He obviously can't take the whole army with him, so they're gonna march. Our crew is gonna hop on board with Rolf, get there nice and early, and prepare for the army and prepare for what's to come at Orinth. Yikes.
Yikes. Chapter 64. Hours after the battle, Irene was still shaken by the near catastrophe she had witnessed. The Queen's devastating power on the plain and Rowan barely preventing the steam from boiling everyone in its path. Exhausted but determined, she returned to the healing, knowing she would need rest soon. Aelin was stable, and Rowan insisted he only needed sleep as he was close to burning out. Lorcan's injuries were severe enough that Hafiza had to assist her. A horn sounded outside, and Irene saw the rest of the Coggins army approaching, Cassian at the front. Another army had been spared that day, and she wondered how long their luck would hold. When Lorcan first woke, Fenris was at his side, joking that he'd drawn the short straw in watching him, though Lorcan knew better. He immediately looked for Alide, but Fenris explained she was helping the healers before Lorcan slipped back into unconsciousness. The next time he woke, Alide was there. She asked how he felt, telling him Irene had said he would have died without her intervention. Alide reminded him she had made him a promise and that he had some meaningful things to say while injured. She asked if he meant them. Lorcan told her he did, and he would until the day he passed into the afterworld. Alide confessed that she loved him, ever since he fought for her against Vernon in the Ilken. Hearing he was on the battlefields, the only thing she wanted was to tell him that truth. Lorcan returned her words, and they shared a passionate moment. Still, he urged her to help the others and return later, only to sleep, until she chose to share everything with him, the final claiming. As she left, Lorcan wrapped his magic around her ankle to steady her. She told him she had missed that, and he understood she meant that she had missed him, and it drew a rare smile from him.
Aww.
Oh, our lovebirds have made up.
They're back in La La Land.
They're back in love. So, just two exciting things in this chapter. A little bit of a filler chapter just to wrap up kind of this part of the story.
Yeah.
The second half of the Coggins army has arrived with Cassian. Cassian is now here on this continent, and Lorcan and Alide are back together again.
Hell yeah.
And even
Finally, Cassian. About time.
about time. And also seeing that little sweet moment between Fenris and Lorcan, almost like a
Yeah.
ceasefire in their, beef. So that was nice
Yeah.
to see as well.
Fenris is no longer trying to kill Logan.
Yes. I think seeing one of your oldest companions almost die, I think puts a lot back into perspective of what this war means and
Yeah, his injuries were
relationships.
like disgustingly horrid too.
His guts were like hanging out.
Yeah, like you could see his bones in the back. I was like, ugh.
Ugh.
Like he
Yeah.
literally looked like he'd skinned alive almost.
Yeah.
Gross. But he's good now.
He's fine.
Who healed him?
Irene and
Fenris?
Hafiza.
Oh. Irene?
Yeah.
Isn't she an Annie L?
Yeah. So is Lurkin.
Oh, yeah. Why did I think he was an Orinth just now? It's too much going on.
Keep it together, Amanda.
Fuck.
Where's your whiteboard?
I know, I need it. I really do.
You have to move your players.
Honestly, this would be the perfect episode for the whiteboard. There's so much fucking shit.
Yeah.
Chapter 65. Manon and Astrid realized Dorian had already left for Marath, but before they could even discuss pursuing him, a scout arrived in a panic with devastating news. Terrasen was calling for aid. Marath had struck at the border and at Pernath and would reach Orinth within the week. Forced to choose between chasing Dorian or answering Terrasen's plea, Manon chose Terrasen. The 13 immediately pledged to fly with her, and Bronwyn vowed her entire clan would join as well. Manon lit the flame of war, sending its fire racing from hearth to hearth across the Kraken lands, summoning every Kraken witch to battle. The scout then flew on to spread the call further. Across snow-blasted mountains and tangled forests, the flame leapt from one hearth to the next, surviving brutal winds as it carried the queen's summons. When the call reached each village, Kraken witches emerged from their hidden lives, donning ancient armor and taking up long-buried swords. Villagers watched in stunned belief as the witches that they had lived beside in secret rose into the sky. One by one, clan by clan, the Krakens took flight, answering their queen's call and soaring toward war.
I loved this entire scene.
I just got chills.
Yes, when you could just picture like a movie, like all these just regular day women just like taking their cloaks out, grabbing their brooms and swords and flying into the air, and they just thought they were regular women.
Literally. The
just-
whole villagers are like, what the fuck? That was my neighbor for 20 years.
Literally, and now they're just immediately just flying into war because the call came in.
And to be honest, it must be wild. Who do they think the queen is that summoned them? Because do they even know Manon is the Kraken queen at this point? These people that are hiding out in the villages?
Well, they know only a queen could do it, so I think that at this point, if someone has been accepted as queen, a majority of the Krakens have done this, so I feel like
Hmm.
they're just accepting of that.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy. If that
crazy.
were me, I'd be like, who the fuck's the queen? Where am I going?
Where the fuck do I have to go?
Yeah. Unless they, like, I don't know, told everybody, which I guess is also possible, but
I don't know. Yes, each as the scout keeps going
yeah.
from village to village, so yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Briefly get the rundown.
Wild. Good for Manon, though. She's finally the Kraken Queen and the Iron Teeth Queen. She's queen of all
Queen
witches.
of Witches.
Hell yeah. And we finally get the call from Terrasin in this chapter, which you mentioned earlier. That's probably why we needed the call in the first place, to really rally Manon and get the flame of war lit and passed. But
Yes.
yeah, that's really all that happens in this chapter.
Yeah, I'm sure other people are receiving the call for aid from Terrasin, but this is just
Hmm.
the only group that we see the message land with and
Yeah.
see what they
Well, the Krakens
decide.
really didn't even know where to go next. They were kind of like,
What's our next step in this war?
yeah, yeah. And then once Dorian had left, they were like, oh God, now what? We got to go get him. But they had a choice to make and they chose Terrasin in this moment. So
The
they
right
are heading to Orinth.
the right call? Question mark? Just kidding.
I think so.
Yeah.
What's she going to do? Bring all the Krakens to Marath?
Yeah, no, that's a bad idea.
Yeah. Much better to be in good company in Orinth.
Yes. When I started doing my notes, I just wrote on this one long one and just skipped it.
Megan always does her longest chapter last.
I can't fathom a long chapter. I just am like, ugh.
Let me just get a stretch in before you start.
It's not even that
Oh.
bad. I feel like I
Yeah.
tried to really condense what was being said into the most pertinent information because it was so long. So I did my best, darlings. Chapter 66. Aelin wakes after 3 days of unconsciousness, lying beside Rowan. Both had collapsed after Aelin unleashed her immense power to stop the catastrophic wave at Aniel. Rowan teases her for showing off and asks whether she has any more surprises left. Aelin admits she sent letters to Adian, to Rowan's uncle, and to Asar when they first were docked off the ship, letters urging them to revolt in Doranel and overthrow Maeve. She even revealed Maeve's valve nature. Whether the rebellion will succeed remains to be unseen, but we know as readers that it does succeed.
Indeed, darling.
Rowan warns that they must still prepare as if Maeve's forces will still come, since a revolt may not be enough to topple her. Aelin confesses she isn't sure she could summon that level of power again. It required the iron confinement Maeve had kept her in, and Rowan tells her he'd be relieved if she never had to use it again if that was the cost. Aelin admits she just wants this war to end. Rowan promises that they'll march north with the Coggins army, crush Erewhon, and then deal with the lock. Before anything else, though, they need food, water, and a bath after 3 days of sleep. Later, Aelin and Rowan meet Cashin. The Coggins forces have decided to march north to Terrasin, both to repay Aelin for saving them and because scouts confirm Marath is concentrating its armies there. Hordes of Erewhon's forces are already moving north, leaving devastation behind. Their next major battle will be in the Farian Gap. It's a brutal climb, but strategically the easiest place to control. Kale had contacted the wild men for safe routes through the mountains, but they demand land in exchange. Kale's father refuses, but Aelin reminds them that Kale outranks him, and they will not let his father stand in the way of their war effort.
Nope.
Meanwhile, Irene is healing captured Marath soldiers by removing the Valg demons from inside of them. She's already cured 10 that day and can manage 15 at most. Once freed, the soldiers are questioned. Some had joined Erewhon willingly and are dismissed, but others choose to fight for their army. Their numbers are small but meaningful. Aelin and the others watch as Irene purges another demon. The man collapses fully human again and thanks her. One more life reclaimed from Marath's darkness.
Yay, Irene.
I feel like this could have been a couple of chapters just in one because there were so many different sections to it.
Yeah.
But basically, Aelin and Rowan are recovered from near burnout after they expended so much energy stopping that tidal wave. They get to then meet Cashin and talk to the rest of the Coggins children. And they are saying, we're going to march north to Terrasen with you, not just because of what you did to save our people, but because that's literally where Marath is concentrating all of its forces, is at
Mhm.
Terrasen at this moment. They're in deep, deep shit because everyone in basically Marath's army is heading to Terrasen at this moment. So they need to do that.
Yikes.
But in order to march them all north, the easiest way, I guess, it's still difficult, but the easiest way to control a battle if they are to get in one is to go through the Farian Gap. And they know that the Iron Teeth witches and Wyvern are, supposedly stationed there. And so they want to control where they're going to be battling them. And so they have to get the help from the Wildmen. But in order to get the Wildmen to cooperate, Aniel is going to have to give up some land, which Kale's father is not about to do. But Kale outranks him and can do that.
I
And
love that. I
and
can't stand Kale's dad.
yeah. And Aelin's like, you are not going to stand in the way of this war because of your pride and whatever you're holding on to. Like,
No
fucking
shit.
get over it.
He didn't even do anything for the war so far.
I know. Well, I think
The fuck did he do?
he has been battling the days that they were battling Marath, but
Yeah,
they're not going to concentrate on him because nobody likes him or wants to be around him.
literally.
Or he
Not
might
even his
just be
own
sitting
son
inside. I don't
and
know.
wife.
But I don't think so.
Yeah. His family doesn't even want anything to do with him.
No.
Not just Kale.
But
The
he did
mom, the
that to
brother.
himself.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we see Irene being the badass that she is and curing the Valg from the human host. And Aelin
Mhm.
and Co get to see that for the first time. And basically, she's been curing about 15 a day, which is a lot magically, but they're questioning their intentions, seeing, did you join Erewhon willingly? Did you want the ring? And if they did, they're just basically killing those. But if they didn't and
As
they
they
were
should.
victims to Erewhon, they're giving them the option, join us or die,
Yeah.
basically.
It's
And
one way to get more soldiers on their side.
that's true. And some want to join them. And so they're brought into, training with the foot soldiers.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Aelin gets to witness that for the first time herself and see this person come back utterly human again, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, well, she didn't think that was possible. She was
Yeah.
about to kill Dorian back a couple books ago, so
Mm-hmm. Yep. She thought you
wild.
have to chop off their head.
Although she must have thought something was possible because they did save Dorian at the end of the day.
Yeah, through
But
the
did they
ring
just think,
though.
"Oh yeah, true, they used the ring." That's right.
Mhm.
All right. Chapter 67. Aelin and Rowan slipped away from the others to the edge of the Silver Lake, where Aelin confessed she thought it would take years to heal those touched by the Valg. What weighed on her most, though, was the question she didn't know how to ask. Could Irene heal Erewhon or even Maeve? And if she could, how would she ask her of that? How would she ask Kale of that? But was it a mistake to protect Irene at the cost of the world? The only alternative was the lock, requiring Aelin or Dorian to sacrifice themselves. Rowan admitted that if Aelin were in Irene's place, he would never allow her to make that sacrifice, even if it doomed the world. Aelin asked to see the word mark books Kale and Irene had brought, and she and Rowan spent hours combing through them. Nothing offered a solution. Rowan found the open symbol, but Aelin explained it only opened portals within the same world, similar to what Fenris could once do before all the Maeve drama.
Mhm.
When Borte asked if there might be a spell to seal the word gates another way, Aelin doubted it. Elena and Brennan would have told her, right? But she agreed to look despite the dread coiling in her gut. Meanwhile, Kale's father tried to bargain with him, offering to reveal the contents of the letter from Kale's brother. The letter was cruel. I hope Aniel burns to the ground and with you in it. Wild.
Wow.
But Kale didn't care. His father then opened a trunk filled with years of letters from Kale's mom, which Kale had never received. His father had let her believe Kale wasn't writing back. Knowing she had never given up on him made Kale smile, but he refused to bargain. He told his father to keep the letters, since they might be the only way he remembered her now that she had left him. He
Mhm.
didn't make deals with bastards, and he wasn't about to start now.
Oh, shit.
Kale, yeah, his dad's a fucking bastard, that's for sure. Kale granted the wild men of the Fangs a small territory in South Aniel, Cain's people, though Kale wisely kept the detail of him killing Cain to himself. His father was furious, but no one listened to him. When the army finally marched north from Aniel, Aelin rode at the front, lighting the way for the 5-day journey towards Orin.
Oh.
I also love this little name drop of Cain here from fucking book 1.
Yes.
Unfucking believable. She ceases to amaze me.
I
She is just
I'll
too good.
just mention it now, but I think one of my last chapters, Cain is brought up again when Kale's
Yeah.
talking about this wild man, and he goes on to say that it had not even been a year since he's killed Cain, but felt like decades ago.
That's crazy.
All of this has happened in less than a year.
Wild.
And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, how? Because she was even gone for a couple months with Maeve. That's crazy to
And
think
she was
about.
gone for a couple of months in Wendland, but I think the first book happened so fast. Like the first two books happened so quickly within like just a few weeks,
Yeah.
probably. He's like at Yulemas, it'll be a year, but it's not Christmas time yet. But it is winter, so they must be getting close to a
They
year
must
at
be
this
close.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. A year? 8 books in a year? This is just a little snippet of this world.
Yeah.
There's so much more I want to know.
But it's
Come
true, like
on.
all of this is they're in a war. Things are gonna happen
Yeah.
quickly and not,
Right.
years and years of war. I guess it could
Yeah.
be, but I guess it has been years and years of war, but, like, this is, like, the end.
Right. That's crazy. We always got to get those book 1 references in the last book because that's Sarah J. Maas for you.
Yes.
I think it's interesting, actually, that they talk about Irene maybe curing Erewhon and Maeve. Because it just made me think, I guess Maeve is in a Fey body, but Erewhon, I mean, he's in a different body too, but like they are Valg
Valg.
demons. So like they are born Valg. So how do you heal someone that's born Valg?
Right.
Is that
They were
possible?
I don't think so, unless it's, like, expending the Valg out of these 2 bodies and, like,
Yeah.
killing it almost, like Irene's doing
Yeah.
with these other Valg demons. Maybe that's what she means by that. I don't think,
Maybe.
Erewhon would be Erewhon anymore, just be whatever host he took over but I don't think he's in a body, like, I think that's just
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. So that confused me a little bit. I mean,
Yeah. I think she's just trying to say, like, is there another way to, like,
yeah,
take
which
on
I
Erewhon
think
and Maeve?
is foreshadowing that there could be another way.
Mhm.
I think this whole section is meant to tell us or to get us thinking because at this point, Aylin's definitely not dying. She's not going to forge the lock and die. She might forge the lock, but she's not going to die.
Mhm.
And Dorian, I thought at first, like, if it had to be one of them, it was going to be him. But now I'm like, I don't know. I don't think he's going to die either. At least, I don't know. At least not by forging the lock. He's just too powerful. They're both just too powerful. They're both needed in this war. And I just don't think it could happen. So I do think they will find another way. And I think it's interesting that Borte is the one that says, is there a spell that could end Erewhon or could lock them away forever without having this lock? And
Mhm.
it's funny that Aylin's like, well, Brennan and Elena would have told me, like, bitch, no, they wouldn't have. No, they
Maybe
fucking wouldn't have.
maybe Brannon, but not Elena.
Yeah, but I feel like Brannon didn't really tell her the whole truth either.
No,
He
Brandon
told her
didn't
more of the truth.
Brandon told her the truth as he knew it because he
Yeah,
was still kept in the dark about a lot of things. He didn't know Maeve was Val, like, she had gotten into his mind so deeply that he didn't even
yeah,
know. So, I think Brandon has told her the truth as he knew it, which isn't obviously everything, but he
yeah,
definitely has been more truthful than Elena, obviously.
yeah. But I mean, he does tell her about the lock, but he doesn't say the whole story to her about her having to die to forge the lock.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like that was silly. And I'm like, yeah, of course there's another way because, of course, these motherfuckers didn't tell them, whether they knew or not.
I think
There's no way
I think
they would
Brandon
save
not
him.
telling her about the lock, though, was kind of forcing his daughter to, like, live up to her own consequences, though, because that wasn't his story to tell.
Yeah.
He was making
I
Elena
agree, I
face her
agree.
shame.
I just feel like there's definitely more that they could have said that they're not
Mm.
saying, which just makes me think there's definitely another way. Definitely another way.
Well, we'll see soon.
Yay, since there's still like 400 pages to go. And we're ending on chapter 75 tonight. It's crazy.
I know.
I did feel a little bit sad when the word mark books really didn't turn up anything for them. Although it's interesting that they have this word mark now that can open these portals in the same world, kind of like how Fenris could do before his whole trauma with
Mhm.
Maeve. But I'm like, I feel like this could come in handy.
For sure.
They should remember this fucking word mark
I agree.
and use it in battle, and I hope they do.
We'll have to see.
Prediction. Just a small one.
Yes.
And then we just end this chapter with Kale's dad being a douchebag. And Kale's like, I don't care. I'm giving this land in South NEL to these wild men so that they can come help us win this fucking war. And Aelin is at the head of this army, leading the way on their journey to Orinth
Mhm.
for the craziest battle I think I'm going to read yet in any book, in any fantasy book. At least that's my expectation.
I mean, yeah, I guess there's been so many battles in this war already, but yeah, I guess the final battle of Orinth should be an epic conclusion.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Hmm.
Mwahahaha.
Mwahaha. Chapter 68. Dorian reaches Marath and scouts the fortress carefully. Realizing it would be reckless to bring the two word keys inside, he hides them deep in the shale with no marker, hoping the distance will keep them beyond Erewhon's awareness. Shifting from a crow into a mouse, he slips into the keep, praying no one senses him. Inside, Marath is eerily empty. No witches, no Valg princes, no Erewhon. Dorian heads towards Erewhon's tower, ready to confront him despite Kaltain's warning. Suddenly, commotion breaks out as guards and a laundress flee from something approaching. Dorian risks revealing himself to see who has arrived. Erewhon appears, no key on him, but radiating immense power. It's the first time Dorian has seen him outside of Parrington's body. Then a cloaked female enters, surprising them both. She is Faye, dressed in deep purple, and her presence freezes Dorian's magic. When she speaks, it's clear she has come with a purpose. Erewhon greets her with cold recognition. Maeve has come to Marath.
Wild. Wild. The rest of this section is just crazy.
Yeah. Did you know that is where Maeve was heading when she left the camp, or did you think she was
No.
going to intercept like the Val Caller somewhere in Doranel?
I knew at some point they would meet
Yeah.
Erewhon and Maeve. I was not expecting it this early.
Well, as we'll see, and I think it's my next chapter that I do, that Maeve doesn't really have any options left and is
Right.
kind of forced to come to Marath, I think, when she may never have. So,
Yeah.
or they would have met maybe in Orinth, but not here.
Yeah. Yeah, because Aelin basically sent all those letters to people in Doranel and they all turned on her. And Maeve has nobody to lead anymore or a kingdom to fucking bow down to her. So she's like, okay, now I must run to my ex-husband's brother for some help.
Going to see my brother-in-law. Here we go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Dorian is shook. Maeve is in Marath.
Dorian is shook in his little mouse body.
I was like, Amanda's not going to be happy that Dorian's a mouse.
No, I'm not having good luck with mouse lately. Although I haven't had any
That's
in my
good.
house. So there's only 20 fucking blocks of poison in my garage,
But you're safe
but I'm safe.
from Dorian and all regular mice.
Yeah. Maybe it was somebody spying on me.
Ooh. Is it
Well,
Faye?
it's in the trash now because I fucking captured that motherfucker and put him outside in the garbage.
So funny.
Chapter 69. Orinth was unnervingly silent, quieter than it had been since the day Aedion and Terrasen's court marched to Theralis. Aedion, Lysandra, and their allies entered through the western gate, moving through streets lined with citizens who were just as trapped as the army returning to them. Every face they passed belonged to someone praying to see a loved one amongst the survivors who were on their way. The weight of their fear, and the knowledge that his own decisions had helped lead them here, pressed heavily on Aedion, though at least Orinth still had held the advantage of higher ground. Darrow and the other lords awaited them. Rolf introduced himself as commander of Her Majesty's Armada and heir to the Mycenaeans, and while Darrow credited the gods for his arrival, Lysandra corrected him sharply. They had Aelin to thank for every ally who had come. When Darrow tried to dismiss her from the room, Aedion stood up for her, though Lysandra chose to leave anyway. Evangeline had seen her arrive from the tower and was waiting. Aedion reminded the lords that Lysandra had fought on the front lines of every battle, more than any of them had done, and Darrow tried to defend himself by claiming age kept him from fighting. Yeah, fucking right. Prince Galen pressed the lords about their preparations for the siege, and though they bristled at being questioned, they answered. An hour later, Aedion followed Lysandra sent to the throne room. Memories of a childhood with Aelin washed over him as he stepped inside. Lysandra admitted she had always imagined Aelin sitting on that throne, despite Marath, despite the lock, despite everything. Aedion could only answer quietly that he had thought so too. You will see her one day on that throne, I just know it. Well, somebody will. I don't know if they're going to survive, but I think they will. They make it to Orinth. They're seeing all these citizens and they're seeing all these soldiers come in, and these people just look like they're looking for loved ones, which is probably so sad. And Aedion, all he's thinking at this point is like, they're trapped here, we're trapped here, everybody's trapped here. So is the army that's on their way, and like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Kind of like a hopeless feeling, but you know what? Hey, at least we have higher ground, right? Always trying to see the positives.
Always trying to see the positives.
You gotta. So Rolf introduces himself to Darrow, and he kind of tries to like be a douchebag to Lysandra, because Lysandra makes it clear that every fucking ally that has come into this story is because of Aelin, not because of Darrow, not because of the fucking gods. Nobody is to be given credit except for Aelin, and she makes it known. And we find out Evangeline seen them arrived. She's in the tower, so she hurries to do that, to go see Evangeline. And Aedion, sticks it to the man. He's like, bitch, Lysandra has been on every fucking battlefield, front row, doing the most damage to literally everybody. And who the fuck are you to tell her anything? And Darrow's like, oh, but I'm old and I can't fight. Darrow, shut the fuck up. Even if you were young, you wouldn't be fighting because you're a bitch.
Well, I think he did fight during the first Darlin.
Come on. What did he fucking do? Swing a sword? Shoot an arrow? He ain't doing what Lysandra's doing, okay?
That is true. He's not doing what Lysandra's doing.
Yeah.
He was like the king's husband, unofficially. They were lovers.
Just like Kale and Dorian back in the day.
Literally, it's like Kale and Dorian 2.0 or 1.0.
Yeah, literally. But we'll deal with Darrow later. These memories of a childhood with Aelin come over him, which I feel like happens a lot to him in this section. He's back in this castle and just all these fucking memories are flooding him. Like, has he not been back to this castle since, I guess?
I don't think so. Maybe not.
Yeah. Maybe not in the last year, since a lot's been going on this year.
Yeah.
They're sitting in this throne room, and Lysandra and him are just like, oh, I always thought I would see Aelin up here. And they will. Foreshadowing.
Or that's bad foreshadowing.
No. Well, not for Aelin anyway. Maybe for them.
Yeah.
Maybe for them not seeing her, but Aelin will be on that throne. I guarantee it. Well, I can't guarantee it, but...
I mean, that would be a pretty shitty ending to this book if that just happened.
Exactly. If she died,
the ultimate
it would have
sacrifice.
To be an epic death.
Yeah.
And the best way for her to die, but I don't think she will.
You do not yield.
You do not yield.
Chapter 70, Maeve, Queen of the Fae, arrives in Marath. When Erewhon questions her identity, she mocks him for failing to recognize her, reminding him that a millennium apart has made him forget his own sister-in-law. She has worn her fae skin for ages, and she's disappointed he never uncovered the truth. Erewhon admits he should thank her. Her betrayal of his brother led him to discover this world, but he demands to know why she has come now and why she has finally revealed herself. Maeve insists she was never his enemy, only his brothers were, and even claims she might have married him had she accepted his ancient offer. Pressed again, she explains that she is no longer queen of Doranel. She once had Aelin contained and intended to bring her to Marath when the time was right, but Aelin escaped. Worse, Aelin had already sent letters to powerful figures in Doranel and is now on this continent. Erewhon confirms she is in Aniel, having stopped the dam's wave with her power. Maeve declares that Aelin has cost her everything: her kingdom, her throne, her warriors, and any neutrality and mercy she once had held is gone. Dorian, still hidden, is relieved to learn Aelin is alive and Rowan has found her. He wonders if Kale is in Aniel as well, his boyfriend.
Of course, he's thinking about Kale.
Maeve proposes an alliance with Erewhon to destroy Brennan's bloodline once and for all. Erewhon doubts her uselessness. After all, she is lost, but she offers him her spiders, her loyal handmaidens, as hosts for the Valk princesses. Erewhon reveals his own plan to bring back his brothers and show them what he has built here. Maeve says she will tell Orcus she grew tired of waiting for him and should have joined him long ago. Erewhon agrees to consider her offer and orders that she be shown to her room. Before leaving, Maeve calls out to Dorian, revealing she has known he was there the entire time. She traps him easily, telling him he is not a very good spy.
Stress. I was so stressed at this point.
So stressed.
I was like, he's about to get fucking tortured like Aelin.
Literally, Dorian's about to go down in his mouse
Yeah.
form. But of course, I got this chapter because it's basically telling Maeve's story again, which I
Again.
always get this chapter. But obviously, a little bit more condensed this time when she finally reveals herself to Erewhon that she is, in fact, her sister in law and that she has been here this entire time. And she's very disappointed that he never figured out who she truly was.
That's actually kind of wild to me, though.
Yeah, that he never scented it on her. That's
Yeah.
how powerful she is, that she smells fae.
Yeah. And it's been like, how many fucking years? 1,000
He's
years?
a millennia
Yeah.
apart.
But like, it just goes to show you how fucking badass women are, even when they're on the dark side, because the Valg princesses are stronger than the princes. Maeve's stronger than the brothers.
Yes.
It's crazy. It's a
Yeah.
girl fucking
If
girl
we
power.
put our mind to
even
something,
on the bad girls.
we will succeed.
Yes, indeed. No man shall stop us, no matter our endeavors.
Exactly. But since she has no kingdom anymore, she's here to make an alliance with Erewhon to end Brandon's bloodline once and for all. So all she has left is to offer up her spiders, but Erewhon's like, your Stygian spiders have kind of gone soft. Like, I kind of even forgot they existed. And she's like, no, not the Stygian spiders, the Karankui, who are very loyal to her and have offered to come as hosts for these Valk princesses because no one has been able to hold them in their bodies because, like Amanda said, they are badass and stronger than the Valk princes. So Erewhon's like, I'll think about this, but my whole plan is to eventually get my two brothers back to this world to show them what I've done. And do you even want to see Orcus again? And so I don't think Maeve actually does, but she has no other options at this point. So she's just going to play along until she can destroy all three of them. And she's like, I'm just going to tell him that I got bored of waiting for him from returning from his battles and I should have joined him a long time ago. So that's her plan. Erewhon sees that this is, plausible because she is so adamant about going after Aelin. She did just have Aelin captured. And there was
Mhm.
no fucking way she was ever going to bring Aelin to Erewhon on a platter. That's all
No.
BS lies. Erewhon's like, let me give this a think. I'll think it over and we'll talk later. And as Maeve is leaving, she sends Dorian, traps him in his little mousy form, and is like, King of a Darlin, you are not a very good spy.
Crazy.
Wild.
Crazy. It's even crazier what happens because I was not expecting that fucking alliance to even
Oh
come
my god,
about.
I texted you. I said your jaw is going to drop reading chapter 71.
It
So
did.
let's get into it.
It fucking did. Here we go. Chapter 71. Dorian shifted back into his human form to face Maeve. She recognized his scent and the echo of his power from Aylin's memories. Maeve revealed that her spies, the Karankui, had been scattered throughout the mountains all along. Cyrene only one among many. Using his ice magic, Dorian kept her out of his mind, frost coating the room as she pressed him to reveal the location of the word keys. Maeve admitted she intended to betray Erewhon and ensure he and his brothers could never return. She had come to Morath because she knew Dorian would eventually seek it out, and sacrificing her spiders to win Erewhon's trust was a small price to her. Damaris warmed in his hand, confirming her words were true. When Maeve claimed they were not so different, Dorian seized the opening. She revealed she knew he had come to Morath intending to sacrifice himself so Aelin could live, and that Aelin had confessed she hoped to return too late to stop him. Dorian didn't blame her. She had a mate and a kingdom. Maeve pushed him to betray his friends, and Dorian played along, offering his alliance with a Darlin. He promised her a people who would not rise against her, and said he had nothing left to lose. The woman he loved was dead, and his kingdom shattered. He would retrieve the key and return with it, and with the bride. Hours later, Dorian stood atop Morath's highest tower, staring at the army below and thinking of his cousin, Roland, wondering whether he had survived becoming a Valg prince or been devoured by one. He knew he was playing a deadly game and wondered if Gavin watched him ally with Maeve, though he dared not to summon the ancient king with Erewhon so near. Hearing hurried footsteps, he shifted and flew to a window, spotting Vernon, Alide's uncle, complaining that Erewhon ignored his counsel. When Vernon left, Dorian crafted a plan.
Hmm.
An hour later, he approached Erewhon in Vernon's form, asking why he sought to destroy this world. Erewhon explained he intended to reshape it into one like his own, reunite with his brothers, and punish this realm for banishing them. He vowed to annihilate all who would not kneel. He also mentioned Vernon's failure in letting Alide escape with the word key. Dorian, still disguised, swore loyalty and learned that even the former king of Adarlan had not fully bowed to Erewhon, news that stunned him. After leaving, Dorian shifted into a mouse and slipped into Maeve's quarters. She called him a fool, warning that their alliance would fail if he continued acting recklessly. She asked whether he had at least found what he sought, but Dorian simply told her no.
Hmm.
But we do find out a lot of good information, even though we don't find the word key.
Yes, we do.
I wonder if this is just how annoying Vernon is and how Dorian so perfectly captured him in his attitude because Erewhon, I feel like, has no idea this is Dorian.
No,
He has no idea at all.
no. I think he's also really narcissistic and has a lot of vanity that he just doesn't even think anyone would come in
Yeah.
not as who they are
Yeah.
against
That's
him.
true. That's true. Dorian shifts into his human form to meet with Maeve. And they devise this plan because Dorian, I feel like his hands are tied at this point too, because he wasn't even expecting to be figured out. And Maeve
Mhm.
obviously figured him out. And she's kind of in a pinch. But Damaris is saying that everything she's saying is true. She's going to betray Erewhon and make sure him and his brothers never return to this realm.
Mhm.
At this point, Dorian's like, what do I have to fucking lose? I'm going to seize this opening when Maeve says that they're not so different after all. Do you think she actually did come to Morath because of Dorian?
Maybe, yeah, because it would make sense. She's looking for the keys. Aligning herself with Erewhon right now is beneficial, but what she ultimately wants is the word keys. And if she can
Yeah,
get those before she really has to dig deeper into this mess with Erewhon, the better.
yeah. I feel like she could have been there for the key, but not realize Dorian himself was there with the other keys.
Yeah, this might be just a delightful surprise for her, but
Yeah,
she does say that the spiders told her, so, I mean,
true.
I do
That's
believe
true.
that.
That's true. I forgot about those crazy spiders, the Karen Cooey. Yeah, no, she definitely knew because of the spiders. That's true.
Mhm.
Because she says Cyrene wasn't her only
Yeah, and she
spy.
knows that he killed Cyrene.
Yeah, she doesn't know that he's a shapeshifter.
She was surprised that he could shapeshift, yes.
Yeah, but she still sniffed him out only because she knew what he smelt like from Aylin's memories, which was wild.
She's so fucking smart. She's
She is
10
so
steps
smart.
ahead of everyone.
I know. It's crazy. But also that gave me faith that Erewhon wasn't going to figure him out because how would he if he never. Well, I guess he did have a collar around him, so he could know his scent from that.
Well, it doesn't seem like he is
Yeah.
all that aware Dorian is there, which
Yeah.
thank God.
True. That's very true. We mentioned Roland again, which is another character from book 1.
R.I.P. when Manon killed him in air
Yep.
fire.
R.I.P. Oh my god, and Dorian doesn't even know that.
No.
Because he's like, I wonder if he survived becoming a Valk Prince.
Nope.
And he doesn't even know Manon killed him.
No.
Dorian's doing his little spy thing, sees Vernon coming, complaining that he can't get counsel with Erewhon. So he's like, perfect. This is my opportunity to meet face to face with Erewhon. He turns into Vernon's form and he finds out that basically the plan Erewhon has is to make this world like his original world, reunite with his brothers, and punish this realm for banishing them. And anyone who went against him would be done for.
Mhm.
And he also finds out in this conversation that his father had never fully kneeled to Erewhon, which I feel like should have been a sign
Sorry.
to Erewhon that this was not Vernon. Because why the fuck would Vernon be asking about the original King of Adarlan?
Right, exactly.
But he really is just in La La Land thinking he's this all tough guy that nobody's gonna fuck with because he doesn't even slip. They have this conversation. Dorian shifts back into a mouse, goes back to see Maeve, and she's like, you are a fucking dumbass. Knock it the fuck off before we get in trouble. And she's like, did you at least get the word key? And he's like, no. And she's like, this dumbass boy.
Literally, what am I dealing with?
Crazy. What does Dorian have up his sleeve? He has to have something up there.
Chapter 72. Nezarin surveys the Farian Gap and is struck by how empty it feels. There are no signs of Marath's aerial legion, no wyvern breeding pits, and none of the usual markers of a Valg king's presence, likely the reason this outpost remained hidden for so long. She, Borte, and other scouts search for the sentries or wyverns, but find nothing. She also looks to the south and does not see the second half of their army approaching. Their plan had been simple: draw Marath's forces out into the plain and crush them between the two armies, without even needing Aylin's power. But the enemy seems to have vanished entirely. A second sweep through the gap reveals the same unsettling emptiness. Meanwhile, the other half of the army, led by the Wildmen, has moved quickly and is only a day from the plains after a grueling march. There is nowhere to hide an army of this size, and Kai, one of the Wildmen, remarks that there are no gods in these lands. Aelin assures them that she and her cadre have been tunneling into their power and will keep the army safe through the night. Cal reflects on how surreal it feels that less than a year ago he killed Cain, though it feels like a lifetime has passed. He shares a quiet moment with Gabriel, who congratulates him on the baby and admits he regrets not being present for his own son. Gabriel hopes Adian will be glad to see him returning with his queen and an army, though Cale knows Adian's stubbornness runs deep. Nezrin and Borte return at last, and everyone embraces for bad news. Instead, they report the opposite. The Farian Gap is empty, completely abandoned, yet some furnaces still burn, meaning someone was there recently. Sartok has already sent people to investigate where the entire host has gone.
Uh-oh.
What are your theories on this, Amanda? Where is Petra? Where is the Iron Teeth and the Farian Gap?
Are they gonna go find the Krakens and be one? Be one.
Be
The
a
Iron Teeth and the Krakens.
one happy witch family.
I mean, I think for sure since Manon didn't kill
Oh,
her
Petra's
mom.
mom. Yeah, one of the
Yeah, her mom,
matrons.
yeah. I think that definitely sealed the deal for Petra. I feel like she would have already done
Got
the right
it?
thing,
Yeah.
but I think that definitely was like a nail in the coffin for her. So I personally think they are on their way. At least Petra is on their way
Right.
to Manon,
Mhm.
which essentially will be Orinth.
Mhm.
Hell yar.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so basically Nezra and Borte and the other scouts are searching the Fairy Gap and there's nobody there. Nobody of importance is still there.
Indeed.
And the rest of the army is doing as they said, coming in from the western side, ready to meet our other half to fight in the plain. And it looks like we're saving ourselves a battle here because nobody's there to fight, which is great news for us
Yeah, for now.
for now.
We'll take the small wins where we can get them.
You actually just kind of have to take the wins where you can get them at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
So, not
you have
having to
to.
fight the Iron Teeth witches and the Fairy Gap right now is great for us.
Yeah, 100%. Especially because they're fucking crazy. We need them on our side. We can't be fighting them.
Literally. Well, the Blue Bloods I feel like are not as crazy as the yellow
True.
Pale Legs, but
True.
any
Yeah,
Iron Teeth
those are
we
the
can get
real
on our
evil
side.
ones. Yeah, hell yeah. Chapter 73. Dorian spent days scouring Marath in countless animal forms, slipping through its halls unnoticed while Erewhon remained unaware of his presence. Each night he returned to Maeve's chambers to report what he'd seen. Maeve kept Erewhon occupied during the day, through means Dorian didn't want to even imagine, and even brought the spiders through a portal using dark magic to allow Valk princesses to enter the new hosts. These princesses were being held for the next phase of Erewhon's plan. Though Dorian sometimes felt the faint pull of the word key, he still hadn't found it. In the form of a fly, he followed a foul, rotting smell into the subterranean chamber. A warning whispered in his mind to turn back, but he pressed on. The lower hall was unguarded. After checking for traps, he reached an iron door, sealed with 9 ancient locks. Shrinking to a gnat, he slipped beneath it and found a greenish, otherworldly flame, a sarcophagus, and a pile of black stones at the room's center. Wordstone collars lined the walls. This was the place where Elena and Gavin had sealed Erewhon long ago, and where Dorian's father and Parrington had freed him. His magic panicked. The collars reached for him, dragging him toward their depths, and he feared one had been prepared for him and for Aelin. Suddenly, he was yanked back. Maeve had pulled him out, calling him a foolish boy. What he felt in that room, she said, was what she had felt every day in the Valg realm, and why she had fled it. Back in her chambers, Dorian vomited into a bucket, shaken by how easily the collars had ensnared him, just as Caltaine once said. He challenged Maeve on how she could sacrifice her spiders knowing the torment they'd endure, but she insisted she had needed to prove her loyalty. When he asked why Erewhon did any of this, she answered simply, because he can. And he was the mildest of the 3 Val Kings. If his brothers returned, their horrors would dwarf his. She explained that while she had no children, some Valg princes and princesses carried the bloodlines of the other kings, and the females were the most dangerous, the hardest to contain. Maeve admitted she had captured and tortured Aelin because Aelin would have never agreed to work with her or save her from Erewhon. Maeve possessed no power that frightened the Valg kings, so she usually kept another Fae female with her, one with abilities unlike Aelin's, but she had left that female behind to prove her loyalty. She confirmed that Erewhon's skin was his preferred decoration and that Dorian would find the souls beneath them disturbing. When he asked whether she felt more Valg or Fae, she said only that she was what she was, and that she refused to become like Erewhon and his brothers. Dorian became certain the key was hidden in Erewhon's tower, and that Maeve was the only person Erewhon might allow inside. They devised a plan. She would seduce him and gain entry. Maeve wasted no time using her magic to transform into a seductive form before heading to Erewhon's chambers. When he arrived, she told him she had not come to discuss war, and Erewhon dismissed his guards.
Yuck.
Ooh, disgusting.
Ooh, disgusting.
I just thought of something as I was literally reading this summary,
Okay.
that she keeps this fucking fey female with her. Is this the owl?
I'm assuming, yeah, that's what she
I'm assuming.
means.
Yeah. And we know it's a healer, right?
Like a fae healer.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're assuming because she says she's unlike Aylin's
Yeah,
power.
like different from Aylin's power. So meaning she's not a firebringer.
Right.
I'm assuming that means she's a healer, which actually gives me a different thought about Irene, because if Maeve has a healer to keep a defense of some kind against Erewhon, then it must affect Erewhon healing.
Hmm.
So light bulb just went off in my head that maybe Irene can fucking save everybody
Yeah,
and
or
still
kill
live.
Erewhon.
Or kill Erewhon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or banish the Valg parasite from this world.
I don't feel bad for Maeve, but I also understand how she got to where she is, to where she's like, this is what needs to be done in order for
Yeah.
me to be protected from my husband ever coming back to get me. So even though she's still bad, she's done bad things, but like I understand her intentions behind
Yeah.
everything,
I think
which makes me
too.
mad that I can understand her intentions.
Well, I agree with you though. I think, through this whole section, I was like, yeah, right. Maeve's playing Dorian. I don't give a fuck what this stupid sword says. She's making it say that. Like I was just like not convinced at all until she said that like the pain or the suffering that Dorian felt in that room is what she felt every single day. And basically just I don't know, it kind of made me believe her a little that she was actually going to betray Erewhon and I don't know, maybe fucking join Aelin in this
No,
fight.
I don't think so. At this point, her and Aelin definitely have beef, like outside of
Yeah, no,
Erewhon.
Aelin, yeah,
But
with the whole Rowan shit and the mates and the fucking torture and yeah, no, they'll never be buddies. But would she be someone that would go up against Erewhon too? Now I sort of believe she could be.
maybe for herself, but not for Aelin.
No, yeah, not for Aelin, but definitely would essentially help Aelin if she took care of Erewhon. But I don't know.
We'll have to see. But yeah, I guess you see like a different side of Maeve because
Yeah.
even in my chapter that I'm going to go over next, you see her hesitant to bring over more spiders. Yeah.
Yeah, because Dorian was like, how the fuck are you giving up these spiders knowing how tormented they are? Like, when these Vow try to infest them. And she's like, I had to prove my loyalty, but like, bitch, did you have to prove your loyalty like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, she gave what, 6 out of how
Yeah.
many are still left, but and
Yeah.
they were willing to do it. And I think you
Yeah,
see
they'll
like
do anything
in
for
the
the
next chapter
queen.
she's like if, let's hold off and not all of them may be as willing as the 6 that came over and
Yeah.
um she is protective of them.
Which I think she should be. I mean, those are the only fucking things that follow her at this point. She has no kingdom anymore. She only has her spiders. She can't lose them too.
Yeah.
By the
Crazy.
end of this chapter, Maeve dresses in her lingerie and she's in Erewhon's chambers and she's ready to fucking tell him she didn't come to discuss war and try
Woo.
to swoon him.
To find the key.
Indeed, darling. Which Dorian thinks is in
The
his
tower.
room or his
Yeah.
tower, yeah.
Chapter 74. After the guard leaves, Maeve wonders aloud whether she is welcome in Erewhon's rooms. Erewhon replies that whether she likes it or not, she is his brother's wife. Maeve coolly reminds him that she doesn't have to be. With a flick of her head, she shifts into Aelin, voice and all, then into Manon, taunting Erewhon whether Manon was meant to be his future queen or merely a prized broodmare. Erewhon dismisses her provocations, insisting she is his brother's wife regardless of the skin she wears. If she needs release, he'll send someone to her chambers and he shuts the door on her.
Oof.
The next morning, Maeve brings Dorian to her meeting with Erewhon. He's disguised. and
As a little
hidden.
mouse again in
Erewhon
her pocket.
Yes, Erewhon has been considering their alliance and demands to know what more she can offer. 6 spiders, even as viable Valkos, are not enough. He wants her to summon all of the spiders as soldiers, as there will be no second phase of this war. Maeve counters that even with the spiders, Erewhon could still fail against Aelin. The display of power at Aniel confirms Erewhon's worst fears. That blast, though, had been meant for Maeve, and she knows it. If Aelin unleashed that again, could Erewhon survive it? Erewhon insists that this is why the spiders' march north is essential. Maeve suggests that she and Erewhon together could obliterate Aelin, saving the spiders for other worlds. She begins speaking of world walking, ensuring Dorian hears every word. She offers Erewhon a demonstration. She will open a portal and show him his brothers, but she will need his help to stabilize the magic, as their strength could overwhelm her. She promises only a brief glimpse of them, and Erewhon's gonna take that bait.
Oh, darling.
So I think what she's trying to do here, and I don't know if you agree, is to make Erewhon bring out his key to help assist her in opening
Yeah,
this portal to get a glimpse of his brother, to show him, like, look at all that I can teach you
right.
once we obliterate Aelin together, like trying to protect her spiders, protect the people or the creatures that are loyal to her,
Yeah,
and by offering him something else instead, and like, let's use the spiders for a different time when we conquer a different world together.
yeah.
But don't you want to see your brothers? Which she now knows is like the most important thing to him. So of
Yeah, he
course
mentions it to everybody.
this is going to be so tempting to him. And yeah, I think if he needs to help her stabilize this portal for the glimpse at his brothers, I feel like a word key is going to come into play. And so that's
Oh,
why she
for
wants
sure.
Dorian to pay attention.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hell yeah.
that was my last chapter.
That was your last chapter, darling.
Yes.
Wow. I still can't believe, though, that he just denies Maeve. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
yeah. That's so
That's how much he loves his brothers. And it also, I guess, shows how desperate he is for them back in his life
yeah.
because he won't even touch them, which means he probably thinks that he's going to see them soon.
Yeah.
And now he probably thinks he's going to see them even sooner.
Yes.
All right, darling. Our last chapter of this episode,
Mhm.
chapter 75. Orinth was fully stocked with weapons, food, and healing supplies, ready to shelter its citizens if they were forced to flee into the castle. As Adian prowled one of the lower turrets, Ren found him, and old memories surfaced again. Childhood friendship that had soured into rivalry once Ren's father learned Adian would be chosen for the blood oath to Aelin. None of that mattered now. Ren reported he would ready the archers and prepare the soldiers at the gate to handle boiling oil, though what they truly needed was hellfire. That sparked an idea in Adian's head. They needed to speak with Rolf. Once darkness fell, Adian and Ren slipped out onto the field. Adian signaled the silent assassins and the Mycenians, and they moved into position. Lysandra, in badger form, dug relentlessly until she bled, helping them dig holes and bury traps across the plain. They worked through the night, then vanished back into the city before dawn. A day later, Marath appeared on the horizon. Ansel of Briarcliff counted as the enemy approached. 15,000, 20,000. Evangeline trembled beside her, terrified for her friends. Ansel kept counting. 30,000, 50,000. Adian had expected them to hit the gate at dawn, but they were marching straight toward the traps. The silent assassin released their flaming arrows, igniting the buried explosives in a blinding flash. 2 of the 3 witch towers that followed this army collapsed instantly. The third survived. The trap had detonated too early.
Ugh.
Evangeline asked how long the destruction of the towers would delay Marath, but no one answered until Ansel, still counting the endless stream of soldiers, whispered the new total: 100,000.
Jesus.
100,000 and a witch tower. Even one, I mean 3, they would have had no chance in
Oh, for
hell.
sure.
No chance in hell, but one is still fucking very scary to me.
And how are they gonna stop it?
How are they going to stop it? Ugh, I hope they stop it. Aelin needs to hurry the fuck up. Or is it going to be Petra who finally shows up and stops it?
I'm not telling you, but I do believe you will find out next section.
Yes! I can't wait to read next section, but I need to make a prediction. I do think they are going to use this witch tower, even if it's one devastating blast before it blows. And maybe that's how somebody dies on our side. Because I don't see at this point a random kill from a Valg soldier happening to somebody important. I feel like it has to be a big blast that they just couldn't get out of the way in time. Because this one witch tower is left. And it's going to be devastating in some type of way. They're not just going to destroy it before they get to use it.
We'll see.
And we'll leave it at that. I can't say who, because now I'm just confused. And I'm thinking too much into it.
Yeah, don't overthink it.
I do want to say I think it might be a Cadre brother. Not Lorcan, but either Fenris or Gavriel, maybe. That's just where my head is leaning. I hope not, but that's where my head is leading.
Yeah.
Or maybe Rolf.
Maybe
Rolf. Okay, I'll go with one of the Cadre brothers or Rolf.
My lips are
It can't
sealed.
be Ansel, because Ansel already lost her whole army. So what is she going to just die too? No. She can't just die too.
What, is she going to die?
No, she can't. She has to fight until they win for her people. That's going to be my guess for now.
We shall see.
We shall see. And that's all we have for you today. Please let us know what you think by leaving us a review and comments on any of the platforms you are listening/watching on, or on our social media pages. This helps tremendously to get the word out and lead more listeners to find our show and tune in. And come join our book club Discord. You can find the link in our bios on Insta and TikTok. And next we are reading The Night Prince by Lauren Palferman and The City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards. We love chatting with you guys, so don't be shy.
Don't forget to email, follow, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and tell all your friends about us. And we hope the rest of your day is blissful. Bye!
Thank you so much for listening. Join us next time for part 6 of Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas, featuring chapters 76 through 93. Happy reading!